So, there you are, on the subway, 8:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. Sitting next to you is a guy who radiates energy so heavy you could cut it with a knife. He doesn't smell, no, it's worse. He emanates condensed desperation. And you? You feel it. You breathe it. It enters your lungs like invisible smog. First it tightens your stomach, then it rises to your chest. Finally it settles in your brain like a squatter who will never pay the rent. You get home and you're exhausted. You didn't do anything special, yet you feel like you've run an emotional marathon. The neighbor was yelling on the phone. Now you have his nervousness. The co-worker was crying in the bathroom. Now you have her pain. The guy at the checkout looked like he was about to collapse. Congratulations. Now you feel like you're on the edge too. And of course you think you're wrong. Too sensitive, too fragile. A damned human sponge absorbing the emotional shit of everyone within 5 meters. But here's where you're completely wrong. Because you're not broken, you're not defective, and no, you're not even overly sensitive. You're a walking shadow detector, a metal detector for the lies people tell themselves. And that, my friend, makes your existence incredibly uncomfortable for those around you. Carl Jung, that Swiss genius with the face of a wise grandfather and the brain of a hacker of the unconscious, understood something fundamental. Empaths aren't born to heal others. They're born to force humanity to look in the mirror. That damned mirror everyone avoids because it reflects not the Instagram perfect face, but the real face. The one with the dark circles of the soul, the wrinkles of resentment, and the stains of unprocessed shame. Jung called it the collective shadow. And you, dear empath, are the bastard who brings it to the surface. Not because you want to, not because you enjoy it, but because your nervous system works like a radio tuned to frequencies that others don't even know exist. You absorb what no one wants to hear, you feel what everyone avoids, and then you carry it around like a backpack full of emotional bricks, wondering why the fuck you're always so tired. If you've spent your life feeling like an emotional sponge soaking up other people's shit, leave a like now. I'll understand that you finally want to stop carrying burdens that aren't yours. The truth is this: society has an unwritten agreement, an invisible social contract where everyone promises to pretend everything is okay, to hide their anger, to bury their grief, to smile even when you're screaming inside. And you break this contract just by existing. Your presence is a violation of the emotional code of conduct because you can't pretend, you can't ignore. You can't pretend nothing is happening when someone in front of you is breaking down inside while still displaying a smile worthy of a toothpaste commercial. Jung wrote that people will do anything, even the most absurd, to avoid looking inside themselves. They'll accuse you of being dramatic, exaggerated, crazy, rather than admit that you're reflecting something about themselves they don't want to see. This is your superpower and your nightmare. Let's take a moment to understand what you're really absorbing. It's not just the emotions of the guy at the bus stop. Oh no, that would be too easy. You're absorbing layer upon layer of unprocessed psychological material that stretches back generations. The trauma of the grandfather who never cried after the war, there it is, in your chest. The shame of the grandmother who was abused and never spoke about it, there it is in your throat. The repressed anger of your father who spent 30 years hating his job, guess where it ends up? That's right, in your nervous system. Jung called all this the collective unconscious, a subterranean ocean of shared human experiences where not only luminous archetypes like the hero or the mother, but also all the emotional garbage that humanity has swept under the rug for centuries. And you, empath, are the unfortunate one who keeps tripping over this rug and discovering what's underneath. Spoiler alert, they're not gold coins.
Jung observed that when a society refuses to address its pain, someone will have to do it for it. Someone will become the container, the reservoir, the emotional dump. And guess who got this role? You. You didn't choose it. You didn't apply. There wasn't a LinkedIn ad that said, "Empath wanted for collective emotional sponge roll. Benefits included chronic exhaustion, social misunderstanding, and the constant feeling of carrying the weight of the world." And yet, here you are. And the craziest thing? They've convinced you that your job is to heal all of this, that you're supposed to transform pain into love, anger into peace, chaos into harmony, as if you were some fucking emotional alchemist with a magic wand and healing potions. But Jung realized something revolutionary. Your job isn't to heal anything. Your job is to make the invisible visible, to unearth what's been buried, to force people to see what they've desperately avoided. Let's take a practical example. You're having dinner with your family. Your aunt smiles, asks how everything is going, and shows polite concern. But you feel something else. You feel anger, the old, deep, rotten kind. Anger for an unresolved injustice, for words never spoken, for a life lived on tiptoe for fear of disturbing others. No one else at the table hears it. Everyone is laughing, eating, chatting, and you feel as if someone is squeezing your throat. You can't breathe properly. You eat little. You make the wrong joke at the wrong time, and at the end of the evening, someone will tell you you're weird, that you're too serious, that you should relax. But what really happened is that you mirrored something no one wanted to look at. You reflected your aunt's shadow, and that created discomfort. Not because you did anything wrong, but because your mere presence made it impossible to continue pretending. Jung called this phenomenon unconscious projection. People throw out everything they don't want to recognize as their own, and you catch it in the face, like an emotional baseball thrown at 150 miles an hour. You take their sadness and transform it into your own melancholy. You take their fear and it becomes your anxiety. You take their sense of inadequacy and wake up at 3 a.m. wondering why the fuck you're not enough. But that feeling isn't yours. It was never yours. It's theirs. They just can't handle it, so they unloaded it on you without even realizing it. And you, like a good, unaware empath, accepted it, thinking it was your duty to carry it. But Jung was clear about one thing. Carrying someone else's shadow isn't generosity, it's self-destruction. It's like trying to empty the ocean with a spoon. Not only is it impossible, it will kill you in the attempt. There comes a point when your nervous system says, enough is enough. Jung called it the dark night of the soul. But for you, empath, it's more specific. It's the moment when you've absorbed so much collective darkness that you can no longer distinguish what's yours and what's not. You wake up and don't know why you're sad. You go to bed and can't understand why your heart is pounding. Someone asks you how you're feeling, and you can't even answer because you have no idea which emotion truly belongs to you. Jung observed that this crisis isn't classic depression. It's not textbook anxiety. It's something deeper. It's your psychic system going into overload because you're trying to process emotional material belonging to tens, hundreds, perhaps thousands of people. You're trying to digest the pain of entire generations, and obviously your psychic stomach is collapsing. This phase isn't failure, it's initiation. It's the moment when you either wake up and understand what's happening or you drown completely in the collective unconscious. And believe me, many empaths drown. They lose themselves. They become shadows of themselves consumed by their role as bearers of pain. Others, however, choose to wake up.
Waking up means understanding something fundamental. What you feel isn't always yours. This may seem obvious, but believe me, when you're in the midst of an emotional vortex, distinguishing between your own pain and the absorbed one is like trying to separate salt from seawater with your bare hands. But it's possible. Jung developed a technique called active imagination. It's a way to consciously dialogue with unconscious material instead of being passively overwhelmed by it. It works like this.
When you feel a strong emotion, instead of identifying with it like, I'm sad or I'm anxious, take a step back, become the observer. Ask that emotion where it comes from. Visualize it as a separate entity. Give it a shape, a color, a voice, and then listen to what it has to say. This process allows you to begin to distinguish. Does that sadness have your mother's voice? Then maybe it's hers. Does that anxiety taste like your father's fear? You probably got it from him. Does that feeling of inadequacy remind you of your boss? Bingo, it's a projection. But be careful. It's not about dismissing everything as if it were none of your business. It's about recognizing what is yours and what isn't, and then consciously deciding what to do with both. The pain that is yours must be processed, integrated, transformed. The pain that isn't yours must be acknowledged, witnessed, and then released. Jung insisted on this concept a lot. You don't heal shadows, you make them conscious, you integrate them, you transform them into wisdom. But you can't do this with other people's shadows. You can only reflect them back, offer a mirror, and let everyone do their job. This is perhaps the most difficult step for an empath. Stop feeling responsible for the pain of others. Stop thinking that if you don't carry it, no one will. Stop sacrificing yourself on the altar of collective suffering, thinking it's noble. It's not noble. It's slow suicide. Jung also spoke of the wounded healer, someone who has been through their own personal hell and emerged with wisdom that can help others. But note, the wounded healer does not carry the wounds of others. They have integrated their own, and through that integration, they become a model, an example, a living possibility for those who are still suffering. This is the crucial difference. You don't have to heal others. You have to heal yourself so completely, so radically, so honestly, that your very presence becomes an invitation for others to do the same. Not through preaching, not through advice, but through the silent example of someone who has faced their own darkness and emerged alive. Now, let's talk about boundaries. That word empaths hate because it sounds like selfishness, coldness, detachment. But boundaries aren't walls. Jung would have called them conscious membranes, structures that allow selective exchanges but prevent unconscious invasions. Think about your body. Your skin is a boundary. It lets in air, heat, and touch. But it blocks bacteria, poisons, and sharp objects. It's not evil, it's functional. Your emotional skin must do the same. It must allow in genuine connection, conscious empathy, and mutual love. But it must block toxic projections, emotional vampirism, and unconscious manipulation. How do you build these boundaries? First, learn to say no. It seems trivial, but for an empath, saying no is like swearing in church. You feel guilty, bad, selfish. But every time you say yes when you mean no, you're betraying yourself and reinforcing a toxic pattern. Second, consciously choose when to enter empathic mode. You don't have to be on all the time. You can decide when to open channels and when to close them. Third, surround yourself with people who do their own inner work. People who aren't looking for someone to carry their pain, but someone to share their journey of growth with. These people exist. They're rare, but they exist. Jung believed that human evolution depended on courageous individuals who made the unconscious conscious, who brought light to shadowy areas. And empaths? They're on the front lines. They're the explorers of the collective unconscious, the miners who descend into the depths of the human psyche and bring to the surface what has been buried. But this role comes at a price. Often you will feel alone, misunderstood, isolated, because you see things others don't see. You feel things others don't hear. And when you try to talk about it, they look at you as if you're crazy. Jung himself experienced this loneliness. During his famous separation from Freud, he went through a period he called his confrontation with the unconscious. He had visions, intense dreams, moments when he wasn't sure he was sane. But instead of repressing them, he embraced them, he explored them, he transformed them into insights that later became the heart of his psychology. This is the model. Don't shy away from your sensitivity. Don't try to suppress it. Explore it, understand it, transform it into a gift.
There's another aspect that Jung emphasized. The unawakened empath tends to attract people who need someone to project onto. Narcissists, manipulators, professional victims. People who unconsciously seek someone to absorb their chaos so they don't have to deal with it. And the empath, eager to be helpful, accepts the role. He convinces himself he's helping, that he's doing good. But in reality, he's only allowing these people to avoid their own growth. Jung was very clear. Helping someone avoid their pain isn't compassion. It's complicity. You're allowing them to remain unconscious. And in the process, you're destroying yourself. True compassion sometimes means letting go. It means saying, I can't carry this for you. You have to deal with it. And yes, that will make you feel like a monster, but it's the only way to break the cycle. The good news? When you begin to awaken, when you begin to recognize your true role, something changes. Sensitivity doesn't disappear. You don't stop feeling, but you begin to feel consciously. You begin to distinguish. You begin to choose. And above all, you begin to transform. Instead of being overwhelmed by collective pain, you become someone who alchemizes it. You take it, process it, and return it, transformed. Through art, writing, music, therapy, teaching. Any creative form that allows you to give voice to what has been mute. Jung called this the process of individuation, becoming who you truly are beyond all roles, expectations, and projections. For the empath, individuation means stopping identifying as merely the absorber and beginning to recognize yourself as the transformer. You are not a sponge, you are an alchemist. And alchemy requires fire, not just water. It requires the willingness to burn what is no longer useful, to fuse opposing elements to create something new from chaos. So, here you are, at the crossroads. You can continue to live unconsciously, absorbing other people's shadows until you have nothing left of your own. Or you can choose to wake up, to recognize your true role, to stop trying to heal the world and start reflecting it back to it. Honestly, without filters. Because that's what the world really needs. Not someone who pretends everything is fine, but someone who has the courage to say, this is what I feel, and maybe you should ask yourself why I'm feeling it. Your sensitivity isn't a flaw, it's a radar. It's an early warning system. It's your superpower, if only you stop seeing it as a curse. And humanity, like it or not, desperately needs people like you. People who aren't afraid to look into the darkness and say, yes, it's here, and we have to face it. So stop trying to be normal. Stop trying to be less. Consciously, radically, courageously become who you are. A living mirror, a detector of shadows, an awakener of the collective unconscious. And always remember what Jung knew. Darkness must not be eliminated. It must be illuminated. And in that illumination, both you and the world around you are transformed. So if this video made you realize you're not broken, but simply tuned into a frequency that few have the courage to listen to, leave me a like. Write in the comments, I'm not a sponge, I'm a mirror. So I know you truly understand. And if you want to continue this journey into conscious darkness, subscribe to the channel.
I'll see you in the next video. And remember, your sensitivity is your superpower. Stop apologizing for existing.